Here are some of the UCA's College of Education online degree programs. We are representing the Instructional Technology Graduate Certificate and Master's Program. I'm the coordinator of the program and an assistant professor in the program. Tara Williams is a student and Tricia Bramlett is also a student. So we have come together to provide you with this PD using a theory that's used in instructional technology and online learning, but we think that it can also be used in in-person learning as well. So we'll give you some tips and tricks, and hopefully you come out of this with some tools you can use next year. So here's a little bit about the Master's in Instructional Technology program. We have 3 tracks. Tara and Tricia are both in the online teaching and learning track, but we also have a computer science teaching and learning and multimedia design and development track. All of those can be either a graduate certificate, which is 15 credit hours, or a master's degree, which is 30 credit hours, where they're fully online and can be completed in 2 years, the master's programs. The graduate certificate program can be completed in 3 semesters. So you can apply at any time. It's an ongoing rolling admission process. But if you have questions about that at any point, please reach out to us. So today we are talking about creating communities of inquiry using technology. So we will tell you a bit about the theory communities of inquiry. We will then get into breakout rooms. So you'll have a chance to talk with each of us in a more intimate way, and we'll talk about the different presences. But let's get started with, where are you from?
Well, I'm Tricia, and I just wanted to kind of see where everyone's from. So I have placed a link in the chat if you do not have access to your phone, where you can scan the code and get access, but just go ahead and click the map and tell us where you're from.
And then I will go to this. Okay. So a few in Little Rock, North Little Rock.
Someone close to Paragould. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so good. Okay, we'll give you about 30 more seconds.
Brooklyn, between Jonesboro and Paragould. That's pretty cool. My mom lived up in Paragould, Tuckerman, Walnut Ridge area for a while. So it's neat to see that part of the state represented. It won't let you put it on the map. Cabot. Cabot's close to me. I was reading that from the comments in case anyone wondered.
You're not just talking to yourself?
No.
All right, so it looks like most of us are in Central Arkansas. I'm coming from Russellville.
I'm from the Houston area, close to Toadsuck, Conway area.
Okay.
Very cool. I'm in the Searcy area.
All right. So thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. Like I said earlier, I know a few of you joined, that if anything comes up, if you have a question or concern, we will be looking at the chat. So you can use the chat function, or you can raise your hand or just speak up. All right, so the plan.
Okay. The plan.
So Tara has the plan. Is she here?
Where did Tara go?
She might be having some trouble with the storm, so I will take it on. So our plan, I mentioned a little bit in our first slide, is we'll do some introductions beyond the map activity, but the map is one way for us to get to know who you are and where you're coming from. And then we'll talk about the community of inquiry theory. I'll give you a little bit of background on the theory, where it came from, and what the components are of the theory. Then we will dig into each of the presents. There are 3: social, cognitive, and teaching presents, and those will be done in breakout rooms. So we'll have smaller groups in breakout rooms. After that, we will really conclude and reflect on the experience and what we've learned about communities of inquiry and the types of technology we can use. So some of the group norms. So Tricia, if you look for Tara, let me know if she shows up.
I'll let you know.
Thanks. So the group norms, we came up with a few today. We just want to know how you want to show up today. We are going to do our best to stay on time, and we want you, and we will stay present throughout the session. So you'll need to adjust as much as you can to make sure you are present during that time. And then we will listen to all participants, and you can share information via chat, and we will share our ideas, and hopefully we're all active in the discussion as much as we can be. Are there any other norms that might come to mind for you? You can speak them, or you can put them in the chat. And I see Tara's back.
She
Yes.
is.
Sorry. Every time it lightens, my internet goes out.
Okay. How are we feeling about these norms? Are we missing anything?
I want to be able to feel free to take a bio break if I need to.
Perfect. Yeah,
Not having to ask or having to be a big disruption.
great.
Absolutely.
Yes, I am definitely for that. So if you need to take a break, please feel free to do so. And we'll have some times during transitions where you might be able to do that more easily. But of course, you can do that at any point. Brittany's good with them. Awesome. Okay, so we'll stick with these and include the bio breaks that I added in the chat. And let's get moving. So we wanted to do some additional introductions, and this is something that doesn't require that you speak out if you don't feel comfortable doing so, but it does give you a chance to share a little bit about yourself and what brings you joy or happiness. And so we're going to open a Jamboard. And so you can follow the QR code, or Tara or Tricia will be putting the link into the chat.
I think it's there.
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can either follow the link or use your phone and scan the code, the QR code.
Okay.
I'll keep this up for a minute or so and then bring us to the Jamboard. Ooh, I'm hearing thunder.
Yeah.
And so if you're using your phone, you should be able to find information at the bottom. You'll go to the little pencil and edit, and then you can add a sticky note, you can use text. And so you can go down after you pick edit and then go to the plus sign. And I'm going to use a sticky note or my camera. So, but feel free to use any of that.
Allison, can you see what I posted on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Once again, if anyone's having trouble, just reach out to us and we'll help you.
Absolutely. Oh, that's beautiful.
Pretty.
Aw. Learning about new technology. That's awesome.
If I want to
Good.
post a picture, do I just go straight to my camera from here?
Yes,
Thank
you'll go to the bottom of, are you using your phone?
Yes,
So you'll see the little
I see it.
icon of a pencil.
Uh-huh.
And then if you go to there should be a few icons that show up. If you go to the
Yes.
plus sign,
Got it.
yep,
Got it.
and then it should be able to photo library or image library.
Gotcha.
I love it. Oh, the beach. That brings me joy too. I had to
Yes.
a hard time choosing between camping and the beach.
I met my family, but really it is the beach. Don't tell them.
Your family at the beach, maybe.
Yeah. I love watching them pop up. It's just fun. You don't know what's going to come next.
Mm. Mm.
Looks like we're playing around a little.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I love playing with new technology.
Trying to find my perfect pitch I want.
It takes a minute.
Come on.
Oh,
Oh,
somebody
cute.
little joy. I love it. I hear someone's thunder.
It's probably mine. I live on the river and it's really loud.
Really loud.
Okay.
It is pouring here. The rain finally decided to let loose.
What is the QR code? I'm interested.
Me too.
It's not posted.
Okay, we'll finish up in about a minute. Oh, another beach. Yeah, star. All right, has everyone shared that's wanted to? Does anyone want to share any information about the picture that they posted or the image or quote?
Mine is my family last year. The only request that my senior graduating granddaughter wanted was to take the family to the beach. So that
Aw.
was graduation trip. And we had
Awesome.
been to the beach as a family since 2010. And the last time we went, there was only 10 of us.
Okay, yeah, you've multiplied.
Now we've booked.
Great, thank you. I know mine is my my three boys. They can be spicy at times, which I love that term. I have a 5-year-old who can be a bit spicy. He's about to go to kindergarten and he's a third child or middle child now, so with a baby. So he is figuring things out, but they can be difficult, but they definitely bring me the happiness.
I definitely enjoy learning about new technology. There's so many new and interesting things that are always coming up. So I just love it.
Yeah, you'll never stop learning about technology, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I posted a picture of the last time I was at the beach on spring break and looking out from the balcony and watching the sunrise in the morning.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. All right, thank you so much for sharing. I am still interested in getting to know some of what you've put down, but let's move on. All right, so a little bit about me. I've already told you I have 3 kids. I am the assistant professor of instructional technology at UCA. I just finished my first semester there. Before that, I was at the University of the Ozarks. And so that's what brought me to Arkansas, was the job at Ozarks. I taught pre-service teachers then, and now I'm teaching in-service teachers and graduate students, which is a really, I really enjoy the transition. And I'm here to help with giving you tools and things that you can use in your classroom. I know any kind of professional development that I go to, I hope that I'm getting something that I can use tomorrow. And I think we'll be able to do that today.
All right. Well, it looks like it's my turn. I'm Tricia Bramlett, and I teach 5th grade at Riverview Kensett Elementary School. I'm also a UCA student in the instructional technology program, the graduate program, which I am 1 semester from finishing, and I can't wait. I'm excited about that. I have 2 beautiful children, a 20-year-old boy who is also a UCA student, I think he's a semester away from his bachelor's degree. I'm really proud of him. And a 9-year-old girl who keeps me on my toes because she is something, I tell you, she's a mess.
I've met her a few times during online classes.
She loves to be part of my meetings, and I had to stay at school today because I didn't want her peeking in.
Yeah.
And I'm Tara Williams. I'm a 3rd grade teacher at Sacred Heart Elementary. I'm also an instructional technology grad student. I have 3 children. I have one, my daughter, who's 23. She is the ER nurse at Baptist in Conway. I have a 20-year-old son who works at Landers, and then I have my 14-year-old who is still in school, and we're going strong with baseball right now. So
Great. All right, so I wanted us to get a bit of a foundation of what Community of Inquiry Framework is. And so we'll dig into that a little bit, just an overview. We have a ton of resources. We'll share a Wakelet with you at the end, and you will have other articles and things about Community of Inquiry there. All right, so the Communities of Inquiry Framework was developed in the early 2000s, and it was really a framework that was about online learning, and it brought in constructivist viewpoints and a collaborative approach to learning, because at that time online learning was fairly new, and I think a lot of times people would just put information on a learning management system and then let students do whatever they wish with it. And there wasn't always a really good structure to creating online communities and online classrooms. We're bringing this up for you because I know a lot of you are in a classroom physically seeing students, because we think there is a lot of value to this framework and how it brings three different concepts together to build a classroom environment and a community where all students can learn. So basis of community of inquiry framework is that it's really about meaningful deep learning, and it's based on social constructivism. So some of Vygotsky's ideas that we learn through others, and we learn best through social means. And so there's that collaborative aspect, but it's also that we build knowledge over the course of exploration and building on knowledge that exists already. So as teachers, we get to make those decisions. How do we bring this information to our students? And what we're doing today is talking about how we can use different technology platforms and resources to help us bring your best cognitive, social, and teaching presence to the classroom. And so the three presences are cognitive presence. It's about meaning making. It's about making connections, exploring. It's community of inquiry. So when we think of inquiry, we think of asking questions, researching, reflecting, and trying out new skills. And so in cognitive presence, that's really what do we bring to our classroom or even to an online environment that allows students to have a certain type of cognitive presence where they're digging into information, asking questions, researching. Social presence is the idea of creating some type of a community where everyone has a sense of belonging. People, they feel they belong there and they should be there, and they get to learn together and share their expertise. Meaning you as a teacher are not always the one with all of the information. You're spreading that out along with your students, allowing students to feel empowered and feel that they can also bring expertise to a problem. And that's where that research comes in, right? So with cognitive learning, if we are having our students research something, they become an expert in that particular concept that they can share with the rest of the group. And then teaching presence is designing and facilitating an environment that is meaningful, that brings in students' lives, that's culturally responsive, and brings in diverse viewpoints, but is also student-centered. And so you get to make those choices based on the curriculum that you use, the books that you use, how you highlight students' ideas, and we'll dig into that a little bit in our breakout rooms. So when it comes to presence, what does it mean to be present when you're teaching? You can either write in the chat or speak it out. What does it mean to be present when teaching? What might that look like, feel like, sound like? Not multitasking. Good, thanks, April. Anyone else? Fully engaged with the audience. Good. Fully listening to all conversations. Being mindful and engaged. And then available, engaged, aware. Good.
Mhm.
So probably not thinking about your shopping list or thinking about, not that you do that, or thinking about anything else going on, but being present with students. Being in tune with the needs, yes. Deidre, giving all of your attention to your students, responsive. Good, so like if you have a plan, right? We all have a plan going in, and if students aren't quite on track to that plan, we're making a shift, yeah. Okay, good. And so when we're present, we have those three components. So we want to think about how we are showing up ourselves as teachers, but how we're encouraging students to show up and be present within the classroom as well. Are we giving them the chance to be responsive to what we say and to what other students say? Do we give time for students to be responsive to each other and be engaged? Are we providing them with examples and opportunities that are interesting to them? So all of those things are important as we're thinking about presence in the classroom. So what does it mean to be present in an online or hybrid environment? So I'm sure most of you have had some experience with online or hybrid teaching, and you'll continue with probably AMI work, I'm guessing. So how might that change? Would presence change in any way if we're in a hybrid or online environment? So go ahead and add to the chat and or speak up.
Unfortunately, for a lot of students, it was a chance for them not to be present. Well, and for teachers as well, those that chose not to have, synchronous lessons, only chose to do asynchronous. It was a good chance to hide.
Sure, yeah. And you can do that pretty easily, even though you can show up in all three presences with being fully online, even with asynchronous events. But if you're not willing to make the video, for instance, or to use your voice or your introductions or allow students to share anything about themselves, then yeah, you're really missing out on a big opportunity. But that's a good point. So availability and flexibility and student engagement. Yeah, so how do we get students excited about what we're teaching, even if it is online or it's AMI work, where they'd much rather do something else during that day home? Responsive to the needs at the moment, yes. So what technology do our students even have? And are we providing them an equal and equitable opportunity to do the work? Cameras on, responsive to messages in the chat, good. Monitor and adjust due to technology. Yeah, I mean, we're monitoring right now with a thunderstorm coming through. Okay, good. So most of what the communities of inquiry is really about, how do we create a presence online, hybrid, or in person that encompasses those three components. And so hopefully today we can dig through that. We might not come up with solid answers, but we'll have an idea and maybe think about how we can use that in our own teaching, either AMI work online or during our in-person teaching. So thanks for participating. So this is just a nice graphic of what the community of inquiry theory is all about. You can see that in the middle is the overall educational experience, and you can see how these different components map on to the others. So for instance, teaching presence is, how are we engaged in our goals, directions, standards, what's expected of us, what's expected of our students at the end of the year. And we can see our social presence is what kind of climate do we set? Do we set a climate where students feel they belong, that their voice matters, that they can make mistakes? And how do we engage our participants? And then here with cognitive presence, how do we regulate learning, especially complex topics or topics that we know have been challenging to students in the past? How do we scaffold that or provide chances to break up big projects for our students? And then how do we engage with the content? And I'm not sure where we're all coming from, if what grade level or subject area, but the grade level, developmental level, subject area will all look a little different when we think about engaging with content. And so having that knowledge of our content and how to teach it is really important there. But we'll share some ideas that are more broad about inquiry and how we get students to inquire about content and ideas. And then supporting discourse here is social presence and cognitive presence. How do we expect our students to talk about the topics that we are bringing up? How will they talk with each other? Do we give them chances to speak up in small groups, but also in large groups, or maybe in online discussions, or other ways to get people to discuss, even if they don't feel comfortable sharing out in front of the large group? So it really is pretty complex, this idea, but we know that all these other things are happening around this educational experience, how we communicate, which was brought up in the chat about being present, the context, where do we teach, what grade level, what's going on in the community, discipline standards, and then applications or the technology that's present, and how comfortable do we feel using technology to help bring all of this together. So we'll be talking about those things separately here and right about now. So I think we have the 3 breakout rooms, and Trisha is going to tell us about them.
I am. I'm going to tell you all about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to split everyone up into 3 different rooms. I will be in the room with the social presence. Tara will be in the room with the teaching presence, and Allison will be in the cognitive presence room. And they're going to explain more information to you and maybe give you a couple little activities. And at the end, we will be leaving the room and someone will come to you. So it shouldn't be about 10 minutes maybe of awesome learning.
Yeah, so for each one, we will be in there with you for about 10 minutes. And then it'll give you, once we transition, it'll probably give you a chance if you need to use the restroom or get water or a snack. You might have a little bit of time there because we'll be transitioning from room to room. You get to stay in the same room the entire 30 minutes. Any questions about that? All right, so we're now at the summary and reflections. I hope all of you found little tidbits of information and knowledge that you could use in your classroom and getting you to think about communities of inquiry as you plan your instruction. And so we are now at the summary portion. And I think, Tara, you were going to do this.
Yeah, so today you kind of learned about the community of inquiry model, the components that each one of these had, and we hope that you've all learned something. Each of the components were social, teaching, and cognitive presences. Again, we would like to know what you have learned, so you're able to scan this QR code, or you can click the link that's going to be added in the chat and kind of give us an idea about what you've learned or something that you've taken away. What comes to mind now when you think about community of inquiry? Let's see.
I think we're putting the link in the chat as well.
Oh, did I get the right one put in there?
I think that's Wakelet.
That's the next one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the next one.
If you can scan it with your phone, that would be easiest, but we're working on the link.
I got it. I'll get it in there.
Okay, thanks.
I think that's it.
There we go. Yeah, the Jamboard.
The Jamboard. And we'll be
Yes,
on
and
slide 2 of the Jamboard.
This one's a bubble. This is
A bubble.
yeah. It looks like we're getting it. This is here. Okay, awesome. Presents. Yep.
Oh, well then I put the wrong one in there too.
We'll need those. We need those for next
Yeah.
time anyway. So. Essential practices. Learning. Yeah, the social piece, cognitive. Okay. Engaged. I know that came up a lot in my breakout room.
Mhm.
I may have put the wrong one on again.
Yeah, that should lead us to it. But it's not linked.
It's not linked.
I think we've gotten it. All right.
Okay. Well, I apologize.
It's part of technology.
Is there
Right.
anything anyone would like to say in in our session now or in the chat.
So I know each of us had talked about different tools that you could use with each of the presences. You will have access to these slides afterwards to look at some of those tools more. I've seen some of you jotting down the names of those tools. Good, lots of new options to explore, yes.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah. So
Okay,
we
so-
have, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Tara.
So we have the Jamboard moving forward. This is another QR code. We want you to describe how you will implement one concept, idea, or technology that you learned in your teaching. Think about next academic year. Be specific as possible. You can use the sticky note option, but think about some of those things that you can use this coming up academic year and be really specific.
So for those of you who need the link for that, I can put it back in there again. Oh, I promise I can put it back in there again. Copy. Paste. There we go.
There we go.
Got it this time.
Deidre's mentioning Flipgrid. Yeah, Flipgrid's great. It's easy to use too.
It is.
Yeah, I know. Trisha, you used it in a way to create like little news clips, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Did. I had my students, they had to pretend, were they pretending they, oh yeah. I'm trying to think. We were studying the Constitution. Is that correct?
Yes.
The Declaration of Independence, that's it. We
Okay.
were studying that and the students went in and they had to pretend that they were giving a news broadcast with their information that they had learned, and they loved it.
Yeah, we had in one of our breakout rooms, someone talked about students teaching other students a lesson.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, they talked about that in mine too. It was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Project Zero thinking routines are a lifesaver. There's so many options there, and they do become routines. So students will know that, hey, we're doing See, Think, Wonder, and okay, I know what that is. So it's a great way to scaffold learning. Mhm. Yeah, so with my clubs to collaborate, yeah, so any online tool can be used to continue communication.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Share feedback about books, good. Yeah, students teaching each other. Great. I know this is something I try to put in PDs that I do. The idea that, okay, I've learned a lot or I've picked up on some things, but this almost is a testament to say, I will do this. So I usually try to, it's like you put it in your back pocket and say, this is what I plan to do with this PD next year or tomorrow or whenever you need to start planning.
Mhm.
So I hope you have found some new ways to think about learning in your classroom and you commit to using something from today.
Mhm.
Okay, so you see my slideshow again?
Yes.
Great. So here's our Wakelet of resources. And I know Trisha has put that in the chat. And this will lead you to the Wakelet board. And it has the slideshow, which has a lot of links to different resources, but it also has some articles about communities of inquiry and about other concepts like culturally responsive teaching and using that in a way to inquire, to use inquiry in your classroom. So the Wakelet will provide you with additional resources. So either follow the link, which let me follow or the QR code. So this is what the Wakelet should look like. So you can see, and I might continue adding to this. There are a couple podcasts and some Edutopia articles, Ed Week, a lot about creating a sense of community, and more about online courses and the presences. All right. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate your engagement and your commitment to those norms. And if you're interested in any of our programs, master's level or graduate certificate, please reach out to me. And I would be glad to give you some more information. Tara and Tricia, do you have any last words?
I just want to say thank you so much for all of your participation. And I absolutely loved some ideas that I heard, and I'm excited. I learned some stuff today too. Well, thank
Yeah,
you.
I agree. Thank you, guys. All of you were very active, engaged in what we were sharing with you. And the program at UCA is a great program. I would encourage you to look into it if you're thinking about going and getting your master's in technology. It's a great one to do.
It is. I love technology, and we use it a lot in my classroom. And when I decided to get my master's, I knew two things. One, I wanted to go to UCA, and two, I wanted to get something in technology. And I absolutely love the program there. It is wonderful, and there's lots of great teachers, instructors there who are willing to go above and beyond to help you and to make you comfortable and to get you through it. So especially in those moments where you break down crying and you don't even know how you're going to get through the semester, but they are awesome and work with you.
Thanks, Tricia and Tara, and thanks for taking my suggestion on and helping me with this. So I really appreciate your assistance, and this it was really fun to work with you. So thank you all for your time. There's some information in the chat that's from our UCA College of Ed TLC. We have a YouTube channel, so this has been recorded. The breakout rooms were not, but everything else was. So you can find that on the YouTube channel, and your PD certificate will be sent to you in a day or two. There's an evaluation form that's available, and you'll receive an evaluation form with your certificate. So be sure to complete it. So thanks for your time, and I might see you in some other sessions. So have a great day.